Chairman, Judiciary Committee, Mr. Jordan from Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Holman, Mr. Beer said that everything is wonderful in the Biden administration when it comes to the border. I think he said in his opening statement they are rebuilding the system. They're pulling it back from the brink. Do you agree with that assessment that Mr. Beer has of the Biden administration?
Absolutely not. They tore down the system.
You know who else disagrees with him? Democrat mayors. Democrat mayors in sanctuary cities. It's amazing to me that these sanctuary cities are sanctuary cities until it's actually time to provide sanctuary. But they disagree with him as well. So you said earlier, both you and Mr. Edlow, you said this is by design. This is intentional. I mean, and you basically, I think if I got it right, you said three main things. Stop building the wall, get rid of Remain in Mexico, and release people when they get here. And that incentivizes people to come from, I think you said 181 countries come to the border. Because they know there's no wall to get over, there's no wait in Mexico, and they're going to get released to wherever they want to go. Is that right?
Absolutely. The first few days in office, President Biden signed over 90 executive orders abolishing all the policies that were proven effective based on numbers. Anybody can go to cbp.gov and look at the numbers. But I want to address one thing real quick.
Sure.
I'm sick and tired of people in Congress talking about xenophobic and racist policy of the Trump administration. We enforce the law. If I'm a racist, what's that make Congress? They wrote the law. We're not making this up. We're enforcing laws enacted by Congress. Second of all, about the family separation thing, because talking about tearing babies out of mothers' arms. I'm the only one in this room that's been on that border. I'm the only one that's interviewed girls as young as 9 years old, been raped multiple times. You look in their eyes and they're dead. Their souls are gone. They have every ounce of what they think is humanity is gone because they were raped numerous times by criminal cartel members. I stood in back to a tractor trailer with 19 dead migrants at my feet, including a 5-year-old little boy. I've seen many dead bodies on the border. I've been down there numerous times this past year where Border Patrol are giving CPR to an infant child 6 months old. I've seen Border Patrol agents, heroes, patriots, who jump in the river with 60 pounds of gear on, putting their lives on the line to save lives. What the whole thing about zero tolerance was to save lives. Maybe if we prosecuted people, they stop bringing their children through that process. Maybe less people will die. Maybe less women will get sexually assaulted. That was the reason. It wasn't to tear babies out of mothers' arms, to prove a point and not reunite them, to make it cruel. That wasn't the purpose of the law. And there was nobody that saw that we aren't going to reunite them. We're just going to call this a terrible policy. That's a false statement. That's a lie. I was there. I was involved. Don't say that we had no intention of reuniting these families. It's ridiculous.
Mr. Holman, which sort of raises, I think, the fundamental question. If this is intentional, if it's by design, why would they do it? What's the overall objective? That's what I can't figure out, is why would they do it?
You know, I ask myself that question every morning. President Biden voted for border barriers. He voted for the Secure Fence Act. Why did he stop building them then? You know, because this is political. There's no other reason. I'll ask anybody, what is the downside on less illegal immigration? What's the downside in having a secure border? What's the downside unless women get sexually assaulted? What's the downside unless children drowning in the river? What's the downside unless fentanyl coming to this country to kill thousands of Americans? What's the downside unless trafficking, sex trafficking of women and children? What's the downside on billions of dollars not being made by the cartels?
I ask myself the same question. I do not understand it.
They obviously see some sort of political future, some political thing that's going to benefit them in the future. People say, well, maybe they're Democratic voters. Maybe, maybe not. But I know one thing, President Biden also overturned the Trump census rule, which millions of these people in sanctuary cities be counted in the next census. What does that mean? It means seats in the House.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. I can't.
You think it's political? I mean, I know what Democrats have said. They've said we should abolish ICE. They've said we should abolish DHS. They've said that they're for non-citizens being able to vote. I mean, I don't know if that's just where the left is, but that to me is the fundamental question. That's a question I think Americans are asking. I get it all the time. Why would they allow this kind of situation to happen? Because the way I figure it, we're on pace to hit 12 million migrants coming in the country in the Biden administration. That's the magnitude of this phenomena. 12 million. That's equivalent to the entire population of our state of Ohio, 7th largest state. Now that's never happened, and certainly, I mean, that's an unbelievable number. That's what we're on pace to do. It's being done intentionally. I think the American people like to know why. I think more importantly, the American people like to stop. Finally, I just asked this question. I don't see. Well, I'll let you and Mr. Edlow respond to that.
Well, bottom line is, while we're sitting here arguing this thing, while we're sitting here talking today in this beautiful room, women are being sexually assaulted making this journey. A child's going to die today. Over 300 people are going to die from fentanyl poisoning that's coming across the open border. When you take a vast majority of Border Patrol agents off patrol, off their national security duties, bad things happen. That's when the criminals come across. That's why did 1.9 million people didn't take advantage of the free giveaway? Why not turn yourselves in? Get processed, get transported to the city of your choice, get work authorization, get a hotel room, get 3 meals a day. Why did 1.9 million people say, no, I want to get away? Why? Because they didn't want to be vetted. They didn't want to be fingerprinted. That just scared the hell out of everybody.
Yeah.
I've done this for 34 years. I've never been more concerned about the safety and security of this country right now than I am right now because of 1.9 million gotaways. That scares the hell out of me.
Okay. Thank you very much. Chair now recognizes